good morning, and welcome to our sacred sanctuary at the Center for Spiritual Living Paradise, broadcasting on Zoom and Facebook Live. I'm Molly, and I'm so very delighted that you're joining us today to celebrate this first Sunday of autumn. We teach the spiritual principles and tools to deepen your relationship with Infinite Source. We believe that the kingdom of heaven is within, and we experience that kingdom through our conscious awareness of it. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all without exception. And there is only one life. That life is God's life. And that life is my life now, our life. We are using the beautiful inspirational music of Karen Drucker to accent our celebration today. And with that, I will turn it over to our Reverend Christine.
Good morning, everyone. Well, on this beautiful morning, would you please join me in an opening spiritual mind treatment for our service and our time together today? Taking a moment to feel that inner connection with the infinite presence that I call God, sometimes spirit, divine intelligence, an all-knowing power, a personal presence that is at the center of my being, the creator of life, all life, seen and unseen. The desire that is planted within all life and every individual to grow, to be more than we appear to be. An inner inspiration, a light, if you will, that is guiding and directing, lighting the way, especially in the times that seem dark and hopeless. And so we come together today knowing that we are one with our global family, with all beings and all creatures on planet Earth. And that what we know for ourselves, we know for others. What we do to and for ourselves, we also do for others. So we dive into that oneness, knowing we are one with our Creator, that we are full of infinite wisdom and inspiration, that as we are grounded and anchored in the truth of our being, that we feel that inner voice, that still small voice of the Spirit that guides us forward. And I know that this is the light and the wisdom that is guiding our service and our time together today. That this message reaches out across planet Earth, whether that is simply energetically or virtually. That we are one human family living in the earth and as the earth, and that we are here this day to open our minds and our hearts to greater direction and inspiration, a trust and a faith in the power within. So we simply relax into this idea. We accept it and thereby are filled with gratitude. We feel a sense of peace and ease. And we simply let this be as we step forward, open-hearted, into our service this morning. And together we affirm, and so it is.
Oh, thank you indeed. And on this beautiful first Sunday of autumn, we honor the balancing of light and dark, both in the world of nature and in the realm of our inner landscape. So I invite you to gently close your eyes and greet this day and greet yourself with kindness and a smile. And begin to bring your attention inward, taking several slow, deep breaths and allowing yourself to be quiet. Allowing your attention to ride gently on the breath. And in your inner spaciousness and quiet, you might set the intention to let go of anything in your thinking that makes you feel undeserving of love, of joy, of happiness. For you are an integral part of the dynamic creativity of the universe, and you are so deserving of the unlimited prosperity of spirit. There is no one more deserving than you. So inhale in gratitude for this knowing. And exhale and release any feelings of unworthiness. Inhale gratitude. And exhale, releasing. The feeling of joy emerges from the experience of connecting to what is really meaningful to us. It's being present and receptive to the mystery and the beautiful wonder of everyday life. It's a deep sense of well-being, an appreciation for life itself with all of its mystery, all of its changes. And this transitional season of autumn gives us plenty of opportunity to practice joy by reconnecting with that sacred turning of the wheel. The turning of the wheel of the year. The releasing and letting go of what no longer serves us. The brightness of the colors, the anticipation of the newness to come. This is the season of release and gratitude as crops are harvested and trees are changing colors and dropping their leaves in this cycle of renewal. So it is the perfect opportunity to honor your own cycles of release and renewal by recognizing and letting go of any limiting beliefs or negative thinking or behaviors that might sabotage your expression of love in your life or prevent you from seeing the joy that is right within each moment. And that joy is an opening of the heart, a sweetness that registers in your whole being as a vibration of positivity and sacredness. We know it when we feel it. And cultivating joy in our lives brings a sense of nourishment and renewal that can balance out any suffering that surrounds us personally or in the world at large. And finding joy in life doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It means that you are able to notice and respond in sweetness and in depth the ordinary moments alongside whatever else may be going on. And gratitude, to be grateful, is in itself a blessing and an opening of the door to joy. And once we start looking at blessings, we see them everywhere. It is sometimes said that gratitude is like a flashlight because it lights up whatever is already there. So let us take time and let us work with our breathing to be grateful for all that we know of the attributes of God that live within each of us. Let us be grateful that there is one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is our life now. So inhaling, God is life. Exhaling, I am life. Inhaling, God is light. Exhaling, I am light. Inhale, God is love. Exhale, I am love. Inhaling, God is peace. Exhaling, I am peace. Inhaling, God is beauty. Exhaling, I am beauty. Inhaling, God is power. Exhaling, I am power. Inhaling, God is joy. Exhaling, God, I am joy. Inhaling, God is good. Exhaling, I am good. And as you continue with your gentle breathing, know that all things God is. And therefore, all these things I am. God is good. I am good. God is life. I am life. You might like to bring a hand to your heart center, acknowledging that oneness. Acknowledging the presence of God in your life, or spirit, or universal good, or whatever name is on the altar of your heart this morning. And in gratitude, to opening to a sense of wonder and joy for the amazing gift of being awake and alive in this precious human form. And with gratitude, may we go into this day, into this new season, with the awareness that joy is present when you open to gratitude and wonder. And may you all have autumn blessings of abundant joy and the awareness of good. And so it is.
Oh my, I feel so full. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Molly. And to have the song repeat that, was very powerful. I hope that all of you, since you're on mute, that you're speaking the words, that you're humming the words or singing the words, so that you get that resonance going within your body. That's just really wonderful. So early this morning, I sent Reverend Larry an image. I was thinking about the idea that when the road gets rocky, that there's something within us still that rises up. And I found this image that I thought was really cute. Reverend Larry's going to show it to you. Maybe you can make it a little bigger or zoom in on it. And when I first looked at this image, I saw the lion in the mirror, but then I backed up just the way that I saw it. And there's this cute little kitty. And I thought, oh yeah, isn't that just so much of the principle that we teach, that what matters most is how you see yourself, philosophical, metaphysical. And this is what Reverend Larry sent back to me. When the road gets rocky, it's coming. Haagen-Dazs, Rocky Road. Yeah. So when the road gets rocky, anybody head for the fridge? Rocky Road or whatever your favorite treat is. But I wanted to share this with you because this is so Reverend Larry. Thank you, my friend. That was a really good laugh early this morning. And I'll admit, it took me a minute through my sleepy eyes to like, okay, ice cream. Okay. Oh, Rocky Road. Yes. We got to have Rocky Road when the road is rocky.
Well, it's the title of your sermon.
So. I know. Goodness gracious, I know. So the theme for the whole month of September has, whether we've spoken it or not at different times, has been about reaching higher. That in September, we've been encouraged through all manner of expression and music and different spiritual practices to reach higher. And today, I'm going to focus on when the road gets rocky, still I rise. Now, this saying, still I rise, is a tribute to the very famous Maya Angelou poem of that title, which I'm going to read to you at the end. She wrote it in 2014, and although it is where she was coming from in her perception in writing it was for Black America, and what our what our people, our brothers and sisters of color have been through. When I think of that, in terms of when the road gets rocky, of course, I feel gratitude, but on the other hand, I feel a commitment. I feel a commitment to stand up to be a greater part of the one global family, to speak my truth, to speak out when I hear or see something that is inhumane to humanity. And in Maya's eloquent way, that is certainly what she's doing in her poem. So that wasn't part of something that I planned to say, but right imperfect. But sometimes I do wonder if in this teaching, with the idea that we say, as all the affirmations, and I have many that I wrote out for today as well, but all of the things, God is good and I am good. God is peace. God is power. God is joy. God is life. God is love. God is abundance. God is freedom. All of these expansive, life-giving things that are exhilarating. I wonder sometimes if consciously or unconsciously we use the teaching against ourselves whenever the road gets rocky. And yes, there are varying degrees of rocky. There are circumstances where maybe it feels like there's no road underneath us at all. There are circumstances where the rocky road feels like a very, very difficult climb, one breath at a time, if we're even conscious of the fact that we're breathing. And then there are the challenges and the opportunities that we meet in life, that when they come up, we seem to sometimes, and maybe not all of us, have this thing where we turn it against ourselves, that because lack or limitation or grief or mild to extreme challenges are happening, ways that maybe we show up in the world that we're not proud of at times, beliefs that we have about our safety in the world, beliefs of what might happen if we speak our truth, that we use that against ourselves, and consciously or unconsciously, we tell ourselves that something's wrong with us and we're just not measuring up to this spiritual truth. So I think that this is a really, really important topic when the road gets rocky. Still, there is something in me natural to my nature. This is what Maya talks about. Something within me, something within that cute little, seemingly defenseless kitty that rises up like a lion, standing grounded and anchored in our two legs, in our power. And yes, it doesn't always happen that quickly. Yes, we forget and we buy in to the frailty and the littleness, and that is okay. I think it's part of the evolutionary process of our growth. We have to be clear and know what our obstacles are and the opportunity and the challenges that we're facing. How is it challenging me? Who do I believe myself to be in this situation? What do I believe about the other that maybe is involved? What do I believe about myself in that relationship? What do I believe about my own innate healing power and ability and conscious choice to in the midst of challenges and obstacles to choose my attitude, in the end to ground myself in the idea that God is good and so am I. So that in spite of discomfort and obstacles, there's something within us that perseveres. And I know that each and every one of us can think of past situations in our lives, challenges, obstacles, very trying time, all the way to maybe what, especially after we're beyond it, minute irritations. It's grist for the mill. It's like Thich Nhat Hanh said, no mud, no lotus. That the beautiful lotus flower arises out of the mud. That the artist that is sculpting chisels away what no longer serves or belongs, so that the beauty of the idea in mind of the artist actually reveals itself. And so what I am suggesting and my intention for this sermon, this message, this lesson today is that to whatever degree each one of us carry a belief that everything should be wonderful, that bad things, what we call bad things, shouldn't happen to us. If I really believe this teaching, that God and life and power and good and wholeness is what I am, nothing bad should ever happen to me. Things should always be easy. They should just come to me. And if they don't, then something's wrong with me. That we look within ourselves and ask ourselves, is any of that belief system within us? Because it's not serving us. So we rise in the midst of obstacles, but we rise not in spite of our challenges and discomforts. And hear this, not in spite of them, but because of them. Because they are stepping stones. Metaphysically, let's look at discomfort and obstacles as divine discontent. Divine discontent that is mirroring one of two things. And I say one of two things broadly, because I'm certainly not going to say that there couldn't be more than two. But let's look at discomfort and obstacles as divine discontent that could be either mirroring that we've outgrown the situation we're in, whether that be a job, a lifestyle, a relationship, a way that we are interacting with ourselves. It could be anything, any situation, any way of being that we have, that we come to a place that we've outgrown it. We've come to the edge of our sphere of influence. And we're on the boundary of that before we step into something new. That challenge or opportunity that's coming up that has always worked. And it was fine before. And we may even remember, whether it's a relationship or a skill or a job or whatever, that at one time it was new. It was brand new. It was a challenge. But over a certain period of time, we mastered it. And that could be a sport that we love. It could be something that we're passionate about in crafting or creativity in some way. We come to a place where we've outgrown that place in consciousness and we're ready for something new. It's asking us to step outside of our comfort zone and learn something new, try something different. And if it's a relationship that we're not ready to leave, that it's not about leaving the relationship, then that takes us to the second situation. It's calling us to reach higher and to dig deeper within ourselves to meet a new opportunity in whatever it is that we're doing. Now, maybe you can think of something in your life that is going on right now where you're being challenged. You know, maybe you're finding yourself in a situation or situations that you don't really know how to handle it or what to do. Or maybe you look at something that's going on in your life about how you've always done things, and it's really not working for you anymore. And you can't walk away from it. Not something that you can walk away from. So it's calling, maybe it's calling you to dig deeper, to ask yourselves, well, why isn't this working anymore? And, you know, I just am having all kinds of situations come to my mind. Like I remember with finances, how I was dealing with finances at one point, that I came to a place that wasn't working for me. I remember in my finances at one time that I came to a place that I started hearing the teaching about the law of circulation, and that as I gave more, that I opened myself up to receiving more. And so I had to look at my belief that I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough money to give more. And to ask myself if that was really true. And how important was it to me to participate in a greater way in generous giving? So I did my own self-evaluation around that, and I made my decision about that. I had to reach in, I had to step out in faith, and I had to step outside of my comfort zone in order to test and to see what would happen. That's why we call this a science. We outgrow relationships. We outgrow even exercise programs or the way that we're doing meditation or our spiritual practices. Oh my gosh, there's so many different ways. And then life, like our dear Jay, throws us real zingers where a life partner makes their transition. And the way that we've done our life, an illness can do this as well. The way that we've done our life is no longer in front of us. And we have to dig in. And we have to grieve. And we have to let go. And we have to do what we can to change the things that we can and have the wisdom in knowing what we can't do anything about. That things come into our lives and, oh, my goodness, I just remember the first time that Dr. Carolyn said this to me. I was like wanting to cover my eyes and my ears and like, no. People come into our lives to go out of our lives. Circumstances and situations come into our lives to go out of our lives. Life is a circulation of birth, of living, and of dying, just as Molly talked about the seasons and letting go of the past. There is that within us that continues to call us forward and upward on our journey of awakening. That calls us to a greater understanding of ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, our role and our purpose in our relationship with ourselves, in society, and with the world. I've been saying this every week. The greatest gift that we have to give to the world, to our global family, is our own awakening. Now, Dr. Holmes wrote in, this is a short paragraph from the Declaration of Principles, and I think it relates to what I'm talking about today. He says, we envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where every person discovers their own personal power and the ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. And Dr. Holmes says we are surrounded by a creative mind that receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. Now, this isn't just some loosey-goosey little thought that goes through our head. This is, when I say thought, I mean belief. And we all have many beliefs we know that we've learned along the way in this human experience that don't serve us. They don't serve us personally. They don't serve us in our relationships, and they don't serve us in our society or the world. Beliefs in lack and limitation and starvation, and that there's not enough, and that there's not answers to problems, and that we're doomed. And yet we rise. It's absolutely amazing when we really start to rise up and open our mind to think about all of the ways that people have brought inspiration and light and new ideas and vaccines and cleanliness and new ways to do things. And God, divine mind, is expressing through every medical venture, through every surgery, through every procedure, through every doctor, through every nurse, through every attendant. The hands and eyes of God, walking out the procedures that once in the dark ages were not even on the radar of human thought. We are surrounded by a creative mind that receives the direct impress of our thought. And when we are ready to dig in, when we feel that divine urge within us or that divine content, we can trust it. We can call it forward. We personalize it through our own desire and aspirations and things that we want to do and create and experience in our life based on who we believe that we are, our beingness. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, things changing, things that I need to let go of, things that I put my trust and my faith in, or people, or circumstances. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for God is with me. Good is with me. Divine wisdom is with me. And I open my heart and my mind to the truth of it. I ground into it. I know that it's there for me. This is the way, one of the ways, but the feeling way that we build our relationship at a personal level with this spirit. The spirit within us that is so powerful that it can rise even after the most devastating of circumstances. The campfire, the destruction of paradise, the way that it changed many of your lives. But we have to do the work. The work of, I'm in the valley, it's a shadow of death. It's a belief in death. But we're told that life is eternal, because as we walk through that and let go in this human experience, that divine mind is with us, infinite good is with us. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for God is with me. This is heart work. This is work that we do in our heart. It's about waking up to who we really, really are. You know, most people go through life feeling and believing at the heart of things that they're very unacceptable. That they're unacceptable to God. That when it comes right down to it, they're unacceptable to other people, to their bosses, to whomever. That they always have to try harder and do more. But when we open in the midst of this, any kind of devastation or change, to the idea that there's that within me that rises, then we can come to realize that this is who we are, that we personalize it, that we bring this principle, a changeless principle, and we accept it. We say, yes, this is for me. As I've said before, if this were true for me, would I be more free? Would I have more to give to life? Would my heart be more open? Would I feel happier and more free and creative? And as that is my experience, would the energy of that filter out to other people and touch them and change their lives and lift them up? And where two or more are gathered in my name, in my nature, might people come together in small or large groups and have new thoughts and new ideas? This is the kind of stuff that is possible for our center as we move forward. But it calls each one of us to do it. Not just the so-called leaders, each one of us to gather together. We believe the kingdom of heaven is within us and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we believe in it. The kingdom of heaven is within us, all things possible. Yikes. So we might go get our rocky road. We might whine and bitch. We might withdraw. We might cry our eyes out for days or weeks or months, and maybe even longer. But what I'm here to say and remind us, and I know that this truth within all of you is resonating and waking up and hears it as truth for you, that in spite of all of that, when we open our minds and we remember that we are not alone, that pain is the portal of our power, that everything that we go through, nothing is wasted. It's like the mud that is fertilizing the flower, and you and your life and your consciousness and your beingness in this world is the lotus flower. You may write down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take that awfully hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide. Welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into the daybreak that's wonderfully clear. I rise bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. And so, my beloveds, we may have parts of us that want to enslave us, but the power and the presence, like a diamond that glistens in the darkness that is within us, still rises, and it's within you, it's within me, and it's within all life, all of humanity. And so it is. Namaste. So I invite you to close your beautiful eyes, to take a moment to see with your inner eye, to feel the place within you that resonates with your truth, to feel it deep within your soul, moving out and pressing out your energy so that you know that the gratitude that you feel is the abundance that you are and have received. And so I know that divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I have, and all that I receive. And together as community, we affirm 3 times, I give joyfully with a consciousness of abundance. I give joyfully with a consciousness of abundance. I give joyfully with a consciousness of abundance. Blessed be, and so it is.